There's no indication that your mother is dead or that Tim had anything to do with her disappearance.
She doesn't love you anymore, Timmy. You ignored her, and she began to loathe you. She worshipped the ground I walked on.
Mr. Jackson, I will be there as soon as I can.
Tell Judge Malone to prepare for my trial of trials.
Do you ever think that maybe it's time to put the conspiracy theories aside?
I think it's time we developed some new ones.
And they both think the other one's done away with the mother?
That's what they say.
And is her disappearance tied to the arson charge against Greg?
Yeah, he says he burned down Tim's shed because he wanted to spend more time with the mother.
What does Tim say?
Tim says Greg's jealous and making wild accusations because Mom loved him best.
Loved him, past tense?
Yeah.
Oh,
They both use a past tense when talking about their mother.
Alice!
Not good.
Alice!
Oh, this isn't
Alice,
gonna be
wait!
good. Okay, now don't get all up.
What happened? Look at you. Look at her. Why didn't you call?
I did, you weren't home.
Where have you been?
In a hotel room. He got late and Ronnie didn't want to drive. What happened?
I had a little accident.
She was attacked. I'm tired of coddling her. Why shouldn't she be just as upset as the rest of us?
I feel as bad as you look because you look awful.
Thanks. Is this the mother?
No, the caregiver.
Mother gone. Mother gone.
That's all she says. Mother gone. Mother gone. Big man comes. Mother gone.
Big man.
What's the matter with her head?
She was dyeing her hair when we got to the cabin.
Mother gone.
Yeah, they got it. So who did this to you? A client?
A guy. I was in a store.
Where were you?
You mean, why didn't I prevent this from happening?
Yeah?
He's not my guardian, Nancy.
Well, I would have been there.
How do you know that?
Oh, because she's always there. Even when I don't want her to be there, she's there.
That's right.
When I grow up, I'll make things happen. And I know everything will be perfect. And I know I will say all the right things. And I know I won't hurt anybody. And that's how it will be when I grow up. I'll make things happen.
Yeah, let's blame it on some unknown big man. Very clever. And how do we know she was my mother's caregiver?
Well, who else would she be?
I haven't got time to answer fundamental questions. I want Alice back.
Well, I told you, she's not a
Actually, it
big...
doesn't matter. We never established much of a rapport. She seemed dubious about almost everything I said.
Can you give me an example?
I'm one of the world's leading experts on high-resin polymer plastics. Do you believe that?
Sure, why not?
Okay, good. Let's talk. What do you make of this gypsy killer?
Well, first of all, what makes you think that she's a gypsy?
Is that really the point? The point is, who the hell hired her?
Your brother?
And what do you know about my brother?
He works for the government.
As a janitor.
Not a researcher?
Janitor! And how much do you suppose a government janitor earns?
A lot less than experts in polymer plastics.
Exactly. So now we have envy combined with basic need. Plus, he knew my mother was turning against him because he's a retarded flake. So he hires this gypsy woman to get her up into the woods.
To the family cottage.
There is no family cottage.
Tim gave Alice a map.
A map to a cottage probably procured for the occasion because he thought it would all be over by now. My mother dead and buried, the gypsy killer long gone.
Except she wasn't. She was there dyeing her hair.
Because of the guilt! Guilt made that woman stay at the scene of the crime and it drove her mad. Now, all we have to do is find my mother's body. In the meantime, I need your help with another matter. I think my brother's trying to seduce my wife away from me.
Your wife, the transvestite.
You say that like it matters. The only thing that matters is the love we share between us.
And knowing this, you want me to...
1, get me out on bail. 2, find my precious Francesca and remind her how much I love her and how much she owes me for sponsoring her into this country. And 3...
locate your presumably dead mother.
Yes, please. And suppose she's not dead. Just buried alive somewhere so they can unearth her from time to time to get her to sign a bank withdrawal.
Well, first things first, then.
Yeah, in the bail hearing. Because I really need to get out of here. It's really starting to get to me.
The Son of Man will be delivered into the hands of men, and they will kill him. And when he is killed, after 3 days, he will rise. Take heed, for you do not know when the time will come.
Mr. Jackson, what's he talking about?
You will be the angel.
Alice, look at you. So very compassionate, even when you've been grievously harmed yourself. But you have to let me move on, because it's time for me to ease the suffering of the wretched of the earth.
Mr. Jackson, you're not planning to do anything to yourself, are you?
I go to prepare a place for you. But I will come again and receive you to myself. That where I am, there you may be also.
Okay, you know, I need to...
I thought you were staying home today.
Yeah, well, I needed something to keep my mind off the pain in my shoulder, so
I didn't mean to keep you from wondering if it was all your fault.
Look, I had a lot on today, and I couldn't hand it all off.
Look,
so
if it wasn't you, it would have been someone else.
I said that that's not it, okay?
Yeah, sure.
I stared. He didn't want me to stare. He asked me not to stare.
Oh, okay, well, now you're even. I mean, you stared and he beat the shit out of you.
He's a troubled guy. He was high.
Yeah, on crystal meth. And while you're deciding, you might want to keep in mind that he has done this 3 times in the past year. Each attack more severe than the last.
Put him away. He's mentally ill. He has an addiction. Okay, I'm not inclined to make any statements that are going to stop him from getting the treatment that he deserves.
Look, mental illness or not, he still has to learn to be accountable for his actions. If we don't stop this guy, he could kill someone.
Elliot, come here.
What's going on?
Well, we went to the planetarium, but it's closed because I wanted him to know about the planets and the size of the universe so he'd know we're not alone, because I don't want him to feel like he's alone.
Oh, and that's very nice. Who is that?
This is Noah. Yeah, he's moving to Mars at some point, so I thought it'd be a good idea for him to see how it all fits.
Where's he moving?
Mars.
This is Gordon and Gloria's kid?
Yeah.
And he's with you because...
Well, I think Gloria would want me to protect him under the circumstances.
What are the circumstances?
Because she's in jail. Because she got arrested. Because she got mad at the hospital and there was yelling and fighting. And then they just took her away.
Right, they took her away and you,
Took him away. Because he was scared in his bed all alone, you know. And then Gloria wanted her family back together. And she's been so nice to me. So, well, I think that the police are looking for us. And I thought maybe that you know what to do. Like, so, do you?
Do you want to put this off until you're feeling better? No, I'm fine. It'd be better for your whole family if you just get this dealt with.
That's not going to happen. Her brother's not the forgiving type.
Yeah, and I heard his precious wife, his little honey. Actually, I'm the injured party here. I mean, to get charged with assault when it was so clearly an accident.
Except she is the one that's physically injured, just to keep it in perspective.
I threw the crib down because she was nagging at me to hurry up. I didn't know she was at the bottom of the stairs.
She's leaning against the wall, barking orders.
Yeah, she sits there all through dinner, not helping out. And then when she decides it's time to go, it's go get the crib, gather up all the toys. And then my brother, the little weasel, starts running around like a goof, sugar. And so we feel sorry for him. So, you know, we try and help out.
But we're never fast enough. No, we're never fast enough.
Oh, no, because the baby wants to go. It's almost her bedtime, and she never misses a bedtime. Never.
They have this 8-month-old baby programmed to within an inch of her life. Every feeding, every nap.
That's all about them, so that nothing disturbs their schedule. They're both idiots, stir stick. I mean, I think that Christy is the most neurotic, selfish parent I've ever encountered.
And you made it clear to her that you think that?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so we can't expect her to suddenly forgive you on the stand. What about your parents?
My father thinks I should have pled guilty for the sake of the family. Think of your brother. Don't be such a bitch. He actually said that to me. What I want to know is why he didn't take the pampered twit aside. Say, you know, it's wrong to have your sister-in-law arrested for what was clearly an accident. So why don't you come to your senses? I'm surrounded by a bunch of colossal assholes.
Well, you can kind of understand the position, and your parents are stuck in the middle.
You know what? If you can't be supportive, you can just leave.
Come on, I'm completely supportive. Your father's right.
Shut up!
No, if you'd have pled guilty, we'd have got a slap in the wrist and this would all be over now.
Okay, that is enough.
Don't talk to me anymore. I'm leaving. She's pretty worked up, eh?
Yeah, so I was right about that, right? I mean, she's just gonna get a slap in the wrist. She's not gonna go to jail or anything.
Oh, they don't put people like your wife in jail. They save that for the mentally ill and the seriously addicted.
Why did you give the police a false name when they arrested you?
It's not a false name. It is a new name. I bought all my family new names so that we could start a new life.
Okay, but you know what? You can't buy new names. You can only buy false IDs. Is that what you did?
I want a new life. I think we should go someplace where we won't be persecuted every time we try to stand up for ourselves.
Okay, I understand. But you know what? Maybe you should find new ways of standing up for yourself, you know, because you took your son from the hospital illegally, right? You assaulted a nurse and an orderly.
They wouldn't let me have him back or tell me how he was doing, and I was afraid for his safety. Gordon has done research on hospitals. More people die there than any place else.
Well, that's because that's where all the sick people are, though, right?
But were they sick when they got there? Sick enough to die? Not according to Gordon's research.
I've done research on staphylococcal infections, and it would be very easy to make one look accidental. Also, I didn't want them proceeding with the mold extraction they're planning.
Did you tell Gloria to steal him?
Or at the very least, cause a fuss. It's important they know we're onto them. And they can't just make him disappear without consequences. They were waiting for her, though, because I'm pretty sure our phone's been bugged by CSIS.
Why is that?
I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister. Nothing threatening, I just detailed his responsibility for Noah's illness.
But the Prime Minister is not responsible for your son's asthma.
No, not directly. But I thought he should be reminded of the definition of accessory after the fact. Do I need to tell you about the connection between government's inability to curtail pollution and the severe respiratory problems which affect our children?
Is Noah okay?
Yes, he's fine.
Don't tell me where he is. I don't want them to be able to beat it out of me.
Hey, Gordon, can I ask you something?
Sure.
How do you live believing all these things? You know, that the government is poisoning our planet so that real estate values will increase on Mars, or that the hospitals are extracting molds from the lungs of our children so that big business won't be held responsible for them getting asthma, or that the frogs are dying, or that the cockroaches can live for a month without their heads and are taking over the planet. And I mean, doesn't that all just, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What did Alice tell you about me?
That you're an interesting guy.
I think she likes my brother better.
Well, he was her client.
But he's a devious and evil man. I mean, I know he's ill, but even so, what he did to me. He knows I have this particular weakness.
Okay, you're going to have to be more specific.
It's not a weakness. It's more of a fondness for a certain type of individual, and I believe my brother exploited it. He arranged for an attractive, cross-dressing man to seduce me.
And why would he do that?
So I'd lead him to my mother.
And did you?
Well, apparently she's gone, so I have concerns.
Well, Greg has concerns too.
No, he doesn't. He just says he does, because if he didn't, he wouldn't look innocent. You tell him and that cheap whore that I am on to them, and that if they have harmed Mom, they are both gonna pay. I mean it. Do I look like I mean it?
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Jackson was attempting to enter the building with a large wooden cross. He was approached by two police officers who requested that he leave. He refused, and they arrested him.
You're gonna feel bad later, so I want you to know right now that I forgive you.
Thank you. May I continue? He struggled with the officers as he was taken away, and later, as he was being led into the station, he tried to escape custody.
A normal human response. I was momentarily filled with doubt about my destiny.
Which is?
To be persecuted by you, Your Honor, and punished beyond human endurance.
Have I ever given you any indication I'd treat you that way, Mr. Jackson?
But you have to. Or maybe it's him, but someone in this court has to persecute me for these unjust charges.
Which are mischief, assault, resist arrest, and attempt to escape custody. He's also in breach of his current bail condition, which is to keep the peace and be of good behavior.
Okay, but the officers acted in a precipitous fashion, Your Honor.
No,
I was
Alice,
there.
let them deal with me as they see fit. But as I already stated, I believe the punishment should be harsh.
So that you can fulfill your destiny.
I believe Mr. Jackson has decided that he is
the Son of God? Is that it, Mr. Jackson? Are you under the impression that you're the Messiah returned to Earth?
So that the downtrodden can be freed and the sick and helpless cared for. I am the way.
Dr. Newman?
I think this has been in the making for quite a while now. His need to represent and protect the disenfranchised has colored all his actions for the last several months. But now at least it's becoming clear why.
Because I'm going to the Father, for he is greater than I. And now that I've told you, when it comes to pass, you may all believe.
I'm recommending a 30-day assessment. That way, maybe we can get this complex under control.
Do you think that he could harm himself?
If he's intending to go to his father, one wonders how he plans to get there.
It's time for me to do what's necessary to save my people. Can you help me make the sacrifice?
No, Mr. Jackson, we can't. But we can get you into a hospital for a while.
No, it's not enough to end the suffering in this world. You have to punish me brutally, please. Tell them, Alice, this has to be the end of me.
I don't want this to be the end of you, Mr. Jackson.
My heart is broken. My soul poured out. I've cried it till the tears no longer come.
Put him on a suicide watch.
All these poor people have been lied to and deceived and filled with the false hope that they be fed and housed and respected as human beings. And now you won't let me show them what I'm willing to do for them?
Mr. Jackson, don't
punish me and put an end to my broken heart.
Are you okay, Mr. Ray?
Yeah, just a little.
Are you my lawyer? It's my mother here. She's supposed to be
Annie,
here.
it's okay. Your mother's coming. Your Honor, this is Mr. Bodine.
It's okay, Mr. Ray. You should just go.
Why are you looking at me like that? What's wrong with her? What's wrong with her?
Got a feeling they're gonna go all the way with this one.
Come on, he's not fit to stand trial.
Well, we'll see what the doctor says, but...
He was completely out of it.
Yeah, of course he was completely out of it. He's a meth addict.
Yeah, but he's a meth addict because he's bipolar, right? That means...
What is your problem? He beat the crap out of you. Does that hurt much?
Look, I've been through this before with guys like Lanny. They get medicated so they're just conscious enough to pass a fitness test, and then they put them on trial for something they don't even remember doing.
Well, I'm sure they'll get a very good trial lawyer who'll make that case.
Or they'll just get somebody who goes along for the ride. What's the deal with the boxes, anyway?
I'm quitting.
Really?
Yeah, I need a change. Going into practice.
With whom?
With myself.
Oh. Do you want to defend him?
No. I don't want to see Mr. Bodine ever again. He beat up a good friend of mine.
No way, I can't.
Yes, you can.
Even if I wanted to, we work for the same firm. It's a conflict of interest.
Not if you do your absolute best for him. You're a defense lawyer. It's your job, and he's just a very messed up guy.
A very messed up guy who attacked my best friend, and I'm not defending him.
You can't make this personal. You should be able to do this.
So this is just another test? Like all those mental health patients you pass on to me to see if I can handle it?
I think this goes to the very root of what it is we're supposed to be doing here. Providing representation for people no matter what our personal feelings are. And the thing is, I'm starting to develop a lot of personal feelings for these guys. They're helpless, they're pathetic, they piss me off.
Hi.
Hi.
Listen, I was just talking with Ian.
You know him?
Yeah, we went to high school together. Anyway, he said that you didn't want to make a victim impact statement, and I just wanted you to know not to sweat it. There were lots of witnesses, not to mention the other two people he attacked.
Hey, he didn't attack them, actually. He was just trying to...
Okay, but you know, even if you do make a statement, you can add any thoughts or observations you think might be mitigating. I mean, if you want the poor bastard to catch a break, that's your dilemma, right?
That's one of them, yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry it happened.
Thanks.
Oh, but hey, at least you got Ian to comfort you, right? And I know from experience, that's a whole lot of comfort.
Oh my God. Alice, I just found out. Are you okay?
Yeah.
It's good, because I was really worried about you.
No, I'm okay. Are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, I just got these very sad people who think extremely, what they think is... I'm glad you're okay. Thanks for asking.
Work, you stupid bastard! Work, you piece of shit! I hate computers! I give up. I'm sorry.
No, don't give up. You can do it.
No, I'm really sorry. Yeah, this whole network thing is too much for me. I'm a really bad person. I lied to you. I tell you I can do something I cannot do. But please don't fire me. You know, I need a job. I can do other things.
Of course you can. Don't worry. See, there's something you can do.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. You won't regret this.
No, I won't.
Oh, piece of shit! What do I do now?
I don't know.
Oh, no, it's okay. I figure it out. I'll be right back.
Oh, good. And he sings.
Was that someone looking for me?
No.
Because, you know, if someone's looking for me, I'll be right in there.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, just until I find a new office of my own.
You know, there's an office for rent right across the hall.
Too expensive, but thanks anyway.
Okay.
Oh, you got here early, I see.
Well, that's right. I couldn't wait.
You brought your lapdog.
Okay, you know what? You don't want to do this here.
Get
really
over
don't want
it, Shauna. Your little brother's got another woman in his life.
Oh, you think I'm jealous? I couldn't wait for him to get married and have kids. I'd hoped it would make him a man.
Shauna.
Hey, I'm a man.
No, you're not. Because the person you married is a selfish child, just like you are. So the best you can do is hope to be parents, hope to be adults. And you're doing a piss poor job of it, by the way.
Judgment's all anyone ever gets from you. Why do you have so many opinions about how we run our lives?
I don't care how you run your lives, but you're raising your child to be an automaton.
At least she'll be able to read before she's in university.
Christy, now
Our
that
child
wasn't...
has a learning disability, you ignorant bitch. You despicable little
Hey, you know what? Let's just take this down a notch, too, shall we? Maybe you should go for a walk. Compose yourself.
Yeah, get under control, Shauna. Do you know what that is? Control?
Yeah, it's what you try to do to everybody in your life, you stupid bitch.
Oh my God, enough! This whole matter should have really just stayed in the family home, but it didn't. And here we are. So you know what? You both should just start acting like adults because enough. You know, I can't. I'm just not up for dealing with this. Ignorance.
Come on. It was around 12 o'clock when the sun stopped shining, and darkness covered the whole country. And Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Father, In your hands I place my spirit. And then he died.
And you're afraid you can't match that? Well, maybe it's not supposed to be the same way. Jesus' sacrifice didn't end our suffering. Maybe we need a different approach this time.
I'm worried that the suffering is so intense now that nothing but the ultimate sacrifice will put an end to it.
But maybe the answer to the pain and the suffering isn't more pain and suffering. Maybe you need to continue spreading the message of love and kindness and decency.
You are a very wise and beautiful man. Okay, let's try and get bail.
I'm sorry to see you here, Mrs. Willis.
I accept your apology, Your Honor. And I'm sorry I disappointed you.
And I'm sorry I couldn't stop her from disappointing you.
Well, now that we've all apologized, Mr. Willis's bail hearing was postponed when his wife didn't show up to act as surety. And now, of course, she's in custody herself, so I'm not sure what Mr. Sachs is going to be asking us to do here.
Basically, just to show a little compassion, Your Honor. That's all. You know what? These people have a lot of fear about the planet, you know, vis-a-vis its demise. And so I was thinking that a little compassion might go a long way.
How about we just start with the allegations? Last night, Mrs. Willis stormed into emergency at Sick Kids Hospital where her son was being kept for observation. She accused the hospital staff of being complicit in a government conspiracy to murder her son by extracting mold from his lungs in an experimental and secret procedure. She then tried to remove her son from the hospital, and in the chaos which ensued when she was prevented from doing so, the boy disappeared. The police have reason to believe she knows where he is. She was arrested with forged passports in her possession, and it appears she was planning to leave the country.
Do you know the whereabouts of your son, ma'am?
I don't like to lie, Your Honor, so could you please withdraw the question?
Not when the safety of a 5-year-old child is at stake.
No, the child is safe, and the court has my assurance.
Well, that's nice, but the police are scouring the city for him right now. Mr. Sachs should probably share whatever information he has, or Mrs. Willis is looking at charges of abduction and child endangerment.
Your Honor, it was actually just a big mistake, okay? You see, when the panic ensued at the hospital, the child inadvertently fell into the hands of a trusted friend of the family.
Member of the family.
What? Yeah, member of the family, who very wisely came to me so that I could help him get the child back into the custody of CAS.
And have you done that?
Well, I want. Oh, yeah. Actually, Your Honor, I just wanted him. I wanted him to see his parents. Just so that he could, and so that they could. Come here. It was just a thought.
Are we late? Because we had to finish our juice, like we bought juice at the Dean Center, and then the sign said no food or drink.
Right. No, it's good. You did good. Okay. Your Honor, basically, my clients have a lot of trouble receiving adequate information about their son, which leads them to become desperately worried about the state of his health, and then that in turn drives them to take drastic measures. That's all.
Like stealing him.
You cannot steal your own child.
You can if you don't have custody. Okay. Mrs. Willis has routinely violated the access restrictions CAS has in place, Your Honor, by taking actions which could jeopardize the safety of the boy. I think we should let CAS speak to this matter, Your Honor. Ms. Penny here is their caseworker.
Can you shed any light on this, ma'am?
Well, basically, Gloria's made this whole thing very difficult for everyone. She calls me repeatedly, and when her messages aren't returned as promptly as she would like, she goes directly to Noah's foster home and demands to see him. We have no idea how she got the address.
As if they're the only ones capable of covert operations.
Okay.
Children need time to acclimatize to their new surroundings.
Let's go.
We make decisions about access with that in mind.
Thank you, Miss Penny. Doctor.
I think for Mrs. Willis, it's all about access to information. I mean, she has no history of violence, just a serious problem with anxiety. Huh? I mean, if she knew what was going on, she'd be okay, I think.
So, what do we do with them? Do we have to leave them in jail until this matter gets resolved?
Unless there's a strong surety, Your Honor. These people need to be supervised, and I just don't know if there's anyone who's up to the task.
Oh, hey, I can do it.
No, so sit down.
Like, I don't have any money, right? But I got ID now, if that makes things easier.
No.
No, I gotta help because they've been so good to me. I want to give something back.
Okay, who is this guy?
He lives in their basement.
Are you seriously proposing this man, Mr. Sachs?
Not at all, Your Honor. Please, sit down, okay? It was a very nice gesture.
Yeah, but I need to help.
I know you do. I know you do. Put that away. Put it away. Your Honor, okay, listen, these people, all right, all of them, well, not the child, but the 3 adults, are very fragile. And I have been trying to assist them, and I've been trying to understand them, which I'm finding. So here's what I have decided. I've decided that, you know what, if we can't help them, then who can we help, really? You know what I mean? Because basically, aside from being, paranoid and a little excitable, they're basically just good people. You know, they care for each other, and they're not motivated by greed or ego or anything like that. And as per the paranoia, I mean, come on, the world is trying to take something very precious away from them. Right? I mean, and I know that's difficult to kind of, hey, I'm difficult to understand. I know people sometimes find me very,
Is everything okay, Mr. Sachs?
Yes. All I'm saying is that the only way these people can survive, Your Honor, is together, as a family, right? Because, hey, for some, ridiculous miracle, they have found each other. And what I'm suggesting then is we drop the charges and let them go. And then if you need to bounce it out, we'll go and arrest 20 extra, crack dealers or bank robbers or guys that steal little mouthwashes from pharmacies if it's all about the quota or whatever, okay?
Your Honor, I think we're witnessing an implosion.
Mr. Sachs, just try to focus.
I am, and what I'm saying is, if you can't let them go, then I'm going to speak to bail program.
There's no way that the bail program can deal with these people.
Well, then there's no way that they can sit in jail either, because I'm not going to be thinking about them sitting in their cells, worried about toxicity and drinking water and dying salamanders, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself. All I'm asking is that you just consider it, please.
Okay, but only because I don't want you to have a stroke.
Okay.
And there has to be a condition that they listen to CAS.
Hey, Mrs. Willis, if you get released, will you promise to abide by Miss Penny's rules?
If she will return my phone calls?
Not if you're going to call me 10 times a day.
How about twice a week?
And will she make sure they cancel any plans they have for a mold removal from his lungs?
How about it, Miss Penny? Will you make an effort to keep Mrs. Willis informed of her son's health and prevent people from engaging in any experimental medical procedures on him?
That's a joke, right?
Not to them, it isn't. Why don't we let him out of the dock for a minute so they can visit with their son? Get to work on that bail program application, Mr. Sachs.
Yes. Hey, excuse me, are they getting to come home?
Not yet. I'm sorry.
Because if they don't get to go home, I gotta go back to my old family, and they're the ones that gave me the hypoglycemia, and I just...
The things that they believe, they walk around with that in their head all day. I don't know how they do it. I couldn't do it. I think they must be very brave. That's what it is.
Where's my mother?
She said she'll get here as soon as she could.
When's that?
I don't know.
You don't know. You don't know. Is there anything you do know?
I know why you're here. Do you?
What? Did I kill someone?
You assaulted someone.
Yeah, so I hit a guy. Big deal. He probably did something to me first.
It was a woman. And she didn't do anything to you.
Well, whatever. Are you gonna get me out of here or what?
I don't know. You breached one of the conditions of your previous bail. You were in possession of a non-prescribed drug.
Yeah, I needed it. It helps me with my disorder. Go tell them that.
No, that'd be a waste of my time. Why don't you just tell me what you're willing to do to get yourself out of here?
What do you mean?
They're not going to let you go home with your mother again unless you agree to some kind of rehab program.
I'll go see a shrink.
You said that last time, and look what happened to him.
No, I hate that asshole because he said some really shitty things to me. I just need people to understand my situation, okay? I've got a f***ing disorder!
I'll do my job, but I don't really care what happens to you. I'm just telling you what you need to do to get yourself out of jail. You need to agree to seek psychiatric help. You need to stop taking drugs, and you need to enter a rehab program. You got that?
Yeah.
So what do you say?
I say f*** off.
She calls me a princess, but for most of her life, her family thought the sun shone out of her ass.
You didn't ask for an essay on the family dynamic, although I am quite fond of that expression.
Yeah, I was just asking where you were standing at the time of the incident.
I was standing where she could hear me.
Which was?
Well, I had to tell her why we had to leave in a hurry.
So you were standing?
She is going to tell you when she's ready and not a moment sooner. That's why we call her the Queen of Time, because she comes when she wants, she goes when she wants, she talks when she wants.
Finished?
Yes.
Good. Now take some advice and keep your mouth closed. I'm going on vacation as soon as this ordeal is over, and it's a tradition with me to put someone away for contempt before I leave. And you are going to tell us where you were standing, or you're going to do some time yourself.
I was standing at the bottom of the stairs waiting for Shauna to bring down the portable crib.
And did she bring it down?
It's portable, but it has one of those metal frames.
Did he ask you what kind of frame it had?
It's important.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure everything you have to say is important.
It's got your number.
One more time, and you're on your way to the detention center.
It's important because she threw it on me from the top of the stairs. And those cribs with metal frames are very heavy. So it knocked me over, I fell backwards, I twisted my ankle, I hit my head on the wall, and I snapped my arm.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Unexpectedly good work, Mr. Weeks. Concise, to the point. I was beginning to wonder if you were ever going to get it right.
That's a bit harsh, isn't it? I thought I was doing pretty good.
You're up, Mr. Ray. Just bear in mind that my flight leaves in 2 hours.
Why didn't you just go get the crib yourself?
I was doing up my child's snowsuit.
So Shauna was doing you a favor. Why were you waiting at the bottom of the stairs? Was she taking too long to do this favor? Is that what you were yelling up to her about?
We had to go if we get stuck in traffic. Bethany doesn't get home in time for her nap, and I have to keep her up to feed her or give her dinner later than normal and mess up her schedule, which is the framework of her life. But Shauna has no respect for our beliefs in that regard, and that's why she was taking her own sweet time.
To mess up your schedule.
I can pack up that crib in 2 minutes flat, and she'd been up there for 10.
And all this from the simple little question, why didn't you go get the crib yourself? You're looking a little rough there, Mr. Ray. Couldn't stay home and take care of yourself with this weighty matter in the balance?
So, you thought that she was taking too long, so you yelled up for her to just throw down the crib.
I yelled for her to bring it down.
You yelled for her to hurry up and bring it down. Then you said, just friggin' throw it down.
Well, even if that's true, I didn't want her to throw it on my head.
Are you planning to sue my client for damages?
I have expenses because of my injuries, extra nanny hours, extra cleaning lady hours.
So that's a yes.
I can't even blow dry my hair. It's not just my arm, it's my neck and my elbow, mostly my neck.
You hear that? Mostly her neck. I'd liquidate all my assets if I were you.
I have $72,000 in the bank. I should be let out on my own recognizance.
He's got a point.
Crown wants a surety.
He's an arsonist.
An alleged arsonist?
He told the police he did it. Now, I want him supervised, Your Worship.
Yeah, I have a note here that says we were waiting for his wife to arrive.
Yeah, she's here. Stand up, please.
Mrs. Lovely?
Yes.
What, they're both his wife?
Not the crazy gypsy, just the tall, beautiful one.
So you're this man's...
Wife, yes.
And you are?
What?
Whose wife are you, ma'am?
Him wife I am. Mrs. Lovely.
I'm sorry, Your Worship. There's been a terrible mistake.
And who are you?
His brother.
This woman's been through a traumatic experience recently, and she's not right in her head.
So she's not your wife?
Oh, no. So I'm just gonna go on to
Oh, God. Oh, God, him, big man. His wife, man.
Big deal. He took her mother. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. I'm sure of it. No.
So can you help us out here, Mr. Ryder?
Nope.
No, he didn't take her. She was gone when he got there, Timmy. Gone, huh? See?
See.
He went there to get her, to take her somewhere, to protect her from Tim and his wife, the gypsy killer. She made you marry her, didn't she, Tim? The little troll wanted some assurance you weren't going to cut her out of the profits once she'd done the deed.
The ravings of a sad, desperate man, Your Worship. All to protect himself and his life partner from the consequences of their actions. Where's my mother? I want her back.
What am I supposed to do? I can't control him, and it's probably just a matter of time before he hits me, too.
What about your husband?
Oh, he's recuperating from a heart attack he had 3 months ago. I mean, all the stuff has been... I mean, we had no idea that Lanny was sick. He was having problems at school, and we knew he was smoking dope, but we thought it was just... And then one day he disappeared. And then when he came back a couple of weeks later, he was totally messed up. He was taking speed to control the mood swings.
That's when you took him to see a doctor?
A lot of doctors, specialists, psychiatrists. It took a while for them to figure out he was bipolar. And by then, he'd been self-medicating for so long, he was addicted.
I was ticked off, but I was like, here's your stupid crib. Not I hope this falls on her head and crushes her vocal cords.
Right. So you make no secret of your dislike for your sister-in-law or the way that she raises her child.
Well, anybody who's witnessed her approach to parenting has the same opinion of it as I do.
My point is that you dislike her, but you don't make a point of assaulting her.
Up to the point of the incident, we maintained a veneer of civility for the sake of the family, but mostly because I love my niece. She has no idea how lucky she is to have a healthy, beautiful baby. Oh, she likes her when she's cute and she's quiet, but not when she makes a fuss.
Is there a reason you're sharing all of this with us, ma'am?
Yes, there is. My daughter has a pervasive developmental disorder, and I can't imagine what life would have been like had Christy been her mother. because she's definitely not always cute and quiet, and she can't be kept on a schedule that makes my life more convenient.
So you resent your sister-in-law for having a healthy baby?
No, because she's a bad parent.
And you're an expert on parenting because your child has a disability?
I took courses in child development because my daughter has a problem, and I thought it was my job as her parent to help her with that problem.
And so when you observe your sister-in-law behaving in a lesser manner...
She complains that she has to give her a bath, that she has to put her to bed, take her to the doctor. Can you imagine a mother complaining that she has to take her daughter to the doctor?
I was just tired.
Well, tough. I practically lived in a hospital for the first year of Laura's life, all right?
All right, let's not let this get any pettier than it already has.
Hey, this isn't petty.
Hey, did you say hey to me?
This woman is a throwback. She actually believes that you can spoil a child with too much love and affection. She thinks that by letting Bethany cry, she's teaching her some valuable lesson. You're teaching her that she's on her own, Christy. You're teaching her to mistrust the world, to grow up suspicious and paranoid and unable to open up her heart to anybody because her parents never taught her how.
That's a lot of anger, Miss Venice. And sitting on that kind of anger and resentment is just asking for the kind of trouble you find yourself in today. Even in this courtroom, where most people would be inclined to stifle themselves, you weren't unable to do so. And I don't have any trouble believing that you threw the crib at her. I think it was just dumb luck that you didn't cause her more bodily harm. And you, if you're as uptight as she says you are, you should probably take a few parenting classes. I mean, what if she's right about that picture she painted about your child as an adult? We really don't need any more rigid, unloved assholes running around this world. Am I right, Mr. Weeks, or am I right?
You're right, Your Honor.
My internet still isn't working. You said you were installing a wireless network.
Well, he tried, but he couldn't do it.
I hate wireless. It's bullshit.
Is that turned off?
You're gonna get a shock, a bad shock. You know, maybe you should actually just unplug it.
Oh, why is this happening to me? Why? Why is this happening to me?
Ronnie? Are you sure he's the right person to use as a handyman?
Well, are you kidding? Where else are you going to get that kind of passion, right? Are you okay? It's all right. Are you okay, doll? It's
Sorry,
all right.
I broke your lamp.
That's okay.
Okay, I got you a new one.
Oh, well.
Please, while I'm gone, you think of something else I can fix, okay?
Oh, I will. Oh. Well, a girl can dream, can't she? Come on, have you seen the guy's ass?
Thank you for getting me bail.
Well, there are some conditions.
He means you have to get help.
Where's my mother?
I was just about to ask you.
Okay, listen to me. I want to show you something. It's a copy of a death certificate.
Whose death certificate?
Well, it's your mother's. Notice the date. She died 5 years ago.
I'm sorry?
Your mother has been dead for 5 years.
That's not true.
Just look at it. I just saw her.
Me too. Just a while ago.
She died. And we think that you both know that. And
he didn't kill her?
Natural causes. You both must have loved her very much, and maybe it was hard to admit she was gone.
Oh.
She loved me so much. So much.
Me too. She loved me too. So, why'd you marry the gypsy?
I thought for a while that I loved her. Why did you marry the man?
Make you jealous.
I thought you did great in there.
How worked up she gets.
Shauna. Hey, Shauna? Shauna, maybe we should talk.
Oh, for the sake of the family?
Do you think I'd like hearing you found guilty in there?
Look, I'll do my community service. I'll take the anger management classes. I'll do whatever he told me to do. But your daughter's still going to be in need of loving parents. I feel bad for her.
You know, I only took it this far to teach her a lesson.
Does that mean you won't be suing us?
No, I have to sue you to cover my expenses.
Hey, Dad wants to know if you're coming over for dinner this weekend.
You gotta be kidding me.
Why do they take everything so personally?
You okay? Try to take it easy on you in there.
All right, you're not gonna have me to kick around for 2 weeks. I'm out of here. Come on, kid, I'll help you out. Whoa, guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You okay? Yeah, oh, don't worry. You know, he's just calling his probation officer to tell him he still doesn't have his new ID. You know, he thinks if he doesn't get one soon, the authorities are going to come for him. Which they're not, right? That's just what he believes. You know, Noah, your parents, they believe things too like that, right? Yeah, things that nobody else believes. And basically, that's why you're not living with them right now. And also why your life is probably going to be a lot different from other kids. I was different from other kids, but, you know, and it was okay. Well, not always. But you know what? You hang in, and you find a place for yourself. You know, I did. Yeah, I did.
He doesn't seem to remember the incident, but that could be a side effect of the drugs.
And with regard to fitness?
Technically, he's fit.
What's the Crown's position?
It's reverse onus. Mr. Bodine was already out on a bail with his parents as a surety, a situation that clearly doesn't benefit either himself or them. They can't control or monitor him, and his behavior seems to be getting worse by the hour, so unless there's another option.
Ms. Dow.
I have no other sureties, Your Honor. But his mother is willing to take him home again if the court...
No, I'm not going back there. You just keep looking at me. Right, Mom? You look at me like I'm this dirty thing with a disease. And then you wonder why I get mad. I mean, what the f*** do you want from me?
I want you to get help.
I got help. They don't like the help I got.
He means the drugs. He thinks we should just let him have whatever he wants.
Is that true, sir?
Well, I mean, you take drugs too, don't you? The only difference is you want them prescribed. I'm taking something that makes me feel better. Why can't you just get that? Are you stupid?
Lenny, just...
Shut up! I mean it! Shut up! Who the f*** made you not to make my lawyer? You people all like they say!
He blames me for what's happening to him. It's because I can't stop it. I'm his mother, and I can't make it just go away.
I can't do this. You can think I'm a bad lawyer all you want, but I don't know how to defend someone like that. I just don't.
Nancy, it's okay.
How you feeling?
Not so good.
Can I drive you home?
Yeah, thanks.
Guilty because of drugs. Guilty because of peer pressure. Guilty with a long-winded explanation. Guilty because of sheer stupidity. Guilty, 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 guilty.
Sorry. Sorry, look, should we stop?
No.
Next week, Da Vinci's Inquest returns to CBC.
How you doing? Haven't seen you around for a while.
The old days, we got a guy with attitude like that, we'd find a way to kick it out of him.
This is not the old days.
Okay, you know this thing we're running on Brian, setting up a sting?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the results. Anything you want me to do to help drag him down, count me in.
Well, I gotta do what I gotta do.
Coming up next, The National.